Typically, the contents of the first disk are written to an image file as an intermediate step, and the second disk is loaded with the contents of the image. As you can see in the picture, each disk cloning requires a reference machine, a distribution machine, and a destination machine. We will now look at some disk cloning softwares that are used by private users or companies. Notable from the list are Ghost by Symantec, the company that developed Norton antivirus software, and Acronis TrueImage by Acronis. So, how to make a clone? These are some few steps. As is clearly evident, without disk cloning, the number of steps are far more than with disk cloning. Now we'll look at some disk cloning software. We've chosen the example of Ghost by the company Symantec, which is also responsible for the famous Norton antivirus. Now, first step is obviously installing the Ghost console on the computer, and it will create the backups and it will do the cloning task. Next, we will create an image of the model computer in which we'll be creating a boot disk, and then we'll be making an image of the boot disk. Then we'll upload it on a server from where the client computers will access it and use it and have access to the files. After having the client computers write the model image, there will be full integration between the boot partition and the Windows operating system on the client computer. The task then can be performed from the Ghost console without having to visit each workstation. To summarize, the Ghost console is capable of performing cloning disks and partition, configuring changes, deploying application packages, and so on. Now, these are some pictures related to the Ghost software. This is a screenshot of the working of the Ghost software, and this is finally what came up. Softwares can be cloned by reverse engineering or legal re-implementation from documentation or other sources, or by observing a program's appearance and behavior. So basically, you're trying to copy what a programmer has made mainly by observing what he has shown in his program. The reasons for software cloning may include circumventing undesirable licensing fees, acquiring knowledge about the features of the system, or creating an interoperable alternative for an unsupported platform. The two pictures are snapshots of games. One is the Sims social game by EA Games and the other is the Wild by Zynga. Both are Facebook games. As you can see, they are very similar to each other. In fact, EA Games had filed a lawsuit against Zynga for copying its game. They can be called software clones of each other. Since the 2000s, there is an increasing number of commercial remakes of classical games by the original developer or publisher for current platforms as the digital distribution lowers the investment ring for niche releases. When enhanced in some ways, audio, graphics, etc., then they are called sometimes high definition releases or special edition. As you can see, many games are released later in a DLC pack or a special edition pack. When IBM announced the IBM PC in 1981, other companies such as Compaq decided to offer clones of the PC as a legal re-implementation from the PC's documentation or reverse engineering, as I had told earlier. Because most of the components except the PC's BIOS were publicly available, all Compaq had to do was reverse engineer the BIOS. The result was a machine with better value than the archetypes than the machine resembled. The use of the term PC clone to describe IBM PC compatible computers fell out of use in the 1990s. The class of machine it now describes are simply called PCs or personal computers. These are some console clones of the famous Nintendo series. The SNES cartridges which were used are cloned by different companies so that they can popularize their sales product.
A spin-off of a previous attempt to clone Windows 95, development started in early 1998 and has continued with the incremental addition of its features already found in Windows. React OS is primarily written in C with some elements such as the React OS Explorer written in C++. React OS is currently in alpha stage, that means it is recommended only for testing and evaluation purposes.
Clone computing has taken on a new meaning since 2010. Clone computing is a way to duplicate the host by replicating the entire session in a virtual instance in the cloud. The clone in the cloud allows the user to have access to their PC's desktop on any other computing device, including an iPad, a PC, WebOS, BlackBerry, Android tablets, in addition to smartphones and the iPhone. If a user's device or hardware is lost, the restore is much more straightforward and simple because basically all the components will be present at login from another device. In addition, because no data is saved to the user's device, if the device is lost, there is much less chance that any critical data can be retrieved and compromised. Remote desktop applications have varying features. Some allow attaching to an existing user session and remote controlling, either displaying the remote control session or blanking the screen. Taking over a desktop remotely is a form of remote administration. The simplest method of cloning a disk is to have both the source and destination disk present in the same machine, but this is often not possible. The solution is to use multicast technology. This allows a single image to be sent simultaneously to many machines without putting greater stress on the network than sending an image to a single machine. A key feature of a backup program is to allow the retrieval of individual files without needing to restore the entire backup. Disk cloning programs either provide a Windows Explorer-like program to browse image files and extract individual files from them, or allow an image file to be mounted as a read-only file system within Windows Explorer.
To summarize, although cloning can be seen as a very shaky tool, very common for plagiarism and such acts, it is actually synonymous to reverse engineering, which we all know is used for for a lot of milestones in our human history. For example, spaceships during the Cold War, US and Russia were constantly reverse engineering each other's spaceship so that they can improve on their own designs and better progress as a humanity. So I believe that cloning as a legalized tool is very essential for the improvement of disks, hardware or software and should be utilized to the fullest.